King Shang back at it. Bright and early, right before I hit these motherfucking, deliveries. Yeah, gang Shang, it's all the same. Unpopular opinion. Old nigga versus young nigga. The old niggas act like they were never young niggas. So they fucking hypocrites. Because they talk a lot of times, my age, niggas my age and older. I'm 48. But a lot of motherfuckers, they talk about the YNs now, but it was far more dangerous when we were YNs and shit, when I was a teenager. In 1992, Dentrell Davis, that's the picture up top, 7-year-old kid that was slain on the way to school with his mother, hit by sniper fire in the Cabrini Green projects. Now, a lot of people don't believe that it was snipers in Chicago, but that was some real shit. It was so bad that it was a female mayor back then, Jane Byrne. She went, I'm gonna have to look that shit up. I wish I had it in front of me. I fucked up. But before I started this video, I should have got that together. I got the other shit together about the children that were murdered. There were 57 children murdered that year. Some reports say 61, some say 57, but we'll just go with 57 because 2 of them I see says 57 children were murdered in 1992. So, a lot of motherfuckers, old niggas, gang member niggas in particular in Chicago, say that when there was structure, it was better and women and children off limits. But this right here says, damn, you ain't gonna be able to see it, but I'm gonna read it off. 57 children were killed that year alone. But, let me see. Okay, Dentrell Davis was the 44th child killed that year. This kid right here, Dentrell Davis, 7 years old, was the 44th kid killed in fucking 1992. So these dudes, they're full of shit. When it comes to that, when there was structured shit, because the drug trade and the murder game, the shit that's going on now couldn't compare to back in 1992 in particular, because in 1992 there was a total of 943 murders. Now it's down to last year it was like 500 or less. I'm gonna have to Google that shit, put my watch on, god damn it, and ask Siri what was that number. I might just type it in on the thing. But I got a beef with the old niggas because they say when there was structure, like I said, once again, women and children were off limits, but a lot of children got killed back then. So the older cats are hypocrites. And even the old niggas that are older than us, when we were young niggas, they were full of shit too, because back in the 60s, when it was all that black power and supposedly let me see what I did. When it was all that black power and brotherly love shit and power to the people and black people united and all that type of shit, so a lot of murders went on in the 60s and shit, 60s and the 70s. A lot of the gangs recruited children to do murders because children were juveniles and they didn't have to do time. You know what I'm saying? They'll send a juvenile out for a sandwich. I ain't gonna say which gang, because motherfuckers might get mad at me and try to come at me, so gotta protect my neck. But there were gangs in Chicago that sent people in the 60s, it was real fucked up. So they was sending kids, because there was so much poverty, they was sending kids to do hits for fucking sandwiches. They was giving motherfucker $1 and a sandwich. They say peanut butter sandwiches and shit. This is how poor motherfuckers was in the 60s. So a lot of those cats that's old niggas when I was a young nigga, they full of shit. But I wanted to read some shit off once again. Dentrell Davis and shit, 7-year-old slain by sniper fire. Snipers did exist back then in Cabrini Green projects. Mayor Jane Byrne had to move down there for a little while. So motherfuckers was on their best behavior when the mayor, she had moved down there with a police detail and shit. It was a publicity stunt. I don't know how long she stayed down there and shit. Hey Siri, how long did Jane Byrne stay in the Cabrini Cabrini Green projects back in the 90s?
Here's an answer from Wikipedia.
Bitch, why you ain't just say it? Oh man, bitch only Jane 3 weeks. So the Cabrini Green project, the Cabrini Green projects, which was on fire back then, it was safer than a motherfucker for 3 weeks because Mayor Jane Byrne had moved down there. But I just want to go over, here you go right here. Following the murder of 7-year-old Dantrell Davis on October 13th, 1992 in Chicago, 13 more children under the age of 15 were slain in Chicago that same year. Let me see. The total for that year was 57 children under the age of 14. You heard that? 57 children under the age of 14 was murdered in 1992. Give a little bit of context and shit, because I'm reading an article off Google and shit. They got all the shit. Dantrell Davis was the 44th child killed that year in 1992 when he got caught in that gang crossfire. You heard that? 44. So it was a bunch of fucking kids that got killed before Dantrell Davis. He was 44. Oh boy. The following year, god damn, it got worse. It was 57 in 1992. The violence continued. 62 children were murdered in Chicago in 1993 when there was structure. You niggas full of shit with that when there was structure shit, because a bunch of kids, women, motherfuckers getting kidnapped. All types of shit was going on. Bitches was selling babies, crackheads. Get the fuck out of here. Knock it the fuck off. Y'all gotta stop that shit, you know. I mean, the YN's kicking up dust now, but motherfucker, it was some shit going on when we was YNs. And even the older motherfuckers older than us, when they was YNs, they killing motherfuckers for peanut butter sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? Yami Sandiford, the 11-year-old, y'all heard of Yami Sandiford. Tupac talked about him a lot. He was not the first motherfucking 11-year-old to kill somebody back then. In the 60s and 70s, they sent motherfucking 11-year-olds on missions all the time because they knew that they were juveniles and they weren't going to get time. You kill a motherfucker and your mama come pick you up, or you do time in the juvenile center until you're 18. Sometimes they would stretch it out, if I'm not mistaken, till you're 21 and then let you go as an adult. And that was it. You know, you just do that time in the juvenile detention center. But we got some more facts. Let me see. The victim, Dantrell Davis, walking to school. Okay, we know that. 1992 was on fire, man. Like I said, 943 fucking murders in 1992. The numbers are down. Hey, Siri, how many murders were there in 2025 in Chicago?
I found this on the web.
CPD, lowest level in years. Damn, let me see. Shit, I wish the bitch would say this shit, man. Damn. This shit get on my nerve when they don't say it. Let me see. Damn. Just in case my shit fucking up, here's a picture of Dantrell Davis, the 7-year-old that was killed. It caused a national outrage because he was hit by sniper fire, probably because of the way that he died. It caught the attention, you know what I'm saying? So, damn, where's the article at? Dantrell Davis, African-American boy from Chicago who was murdered in October of 92. Dantrell was walking to school with his mother in Cabrini Green housing projects when he was accidentally shot by Anthony Garrett. That's the guy who killed him. A member of a local street gang who intended to shoot a rival. Dantrell's death sparked an increase in awareness and extensive violence occurring in Chicago's inner city projects, and led to the first street gang truce, which lasted for 3 years. See, that's some bullshit. The truce lasted for 3 years, but you heard me say The very next year, 62 kids, when they were structured, 62 kids got killed, got caught in crossfire. Now, I've heard motherfuckers say they tell kids to go in the house and all that shit. That's what y'all be saying when we was young and shit. I remember that shit. How the fuck did 62 kids get killed? 57 the year that Dantrell Davis got killed. 57 kids got killed. He was number 44. They're saying 61. Conflicting reports. It's either 61 or 57, but fuck it, we'll go with the lower number because it's still too fucking many. But the very next year, all of this shit is during a gang truce and shit, because they say the gang truce lasted 3 years, so that's that would be 92, 93, 95. But the very, wait, no, damn, what the fuck did I say? 92, wait, is it 92, 93, 94? Started 92, so the next 3 years, 95, okay. 3 years, so that would be 93, 94, and 95. My bad, my math is all fucked up. So in 1993, 62 kids under the age of 14 were killed that year. But let me see. Dantrell Davis sparked increased awareness. Let me see. Okay, the peace treaty lasted for 3 years, but a bunch of fucking kids still got killed during those 3 years. Now, the guy Garrett who shot Dantrell Davis, the sniper, these motherfuckers from the 10th floor and shit, I saw it somewhere. I don't see it right here, but he was convicted of first-degree murder for Davis's death, Dantrell Davis's death, and received 100 fucking years. God damn, that nigga still in that motherfucker. Let me see if I can, is there anything else on it? Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Shortly after 9 a.m. while walking to school, Davis was struck by a bullet fired by Anthony Garrett, who was perched. Okay, this is the other article that I saw that's explaining a little bit more. Oh, okay. Davis was struck by a bullet by a sniper. Anthony Garrett, who was perched in a 10th floor apartment out the window, 1157 North Cleveland. I was just down there earlier today. High-rise building was pronounced dead at Children's Memorial Hospital. Garrett was arrested only hours after he shot Davis, and the following day signed a 5.5-page confession stating that he was aiming to kill a rival gang member. See, his guys probably pressured him to turn himself in so that they don't catch all that heat, or they probably was gonna kill his ass. They like, hey man, cause see, when Shorty got shot, that fucked all the money up, because these project buildings were multi-million-dollar. You could probably compare a motherfucking project building to a McDonald's. I know that some of the McDonald's, some make more, but it's estimated that they make 3.2 million. Of course, the owners don't get that much of shit, but I can almost guarantee a project building, you probably have to go over the FBI files or Google that shit. But a project building made more than a motherfucking McDonald's. That 3.2 million, that's nothing. Them motherfuckers had grocery bags. Got my garbage right here. They had grocery bags like this, full. When I say fucking full, you see how big this grocery bag is? This is my garbage, but they had grocery bags like this, full of weed. You know, the envelopes of weed, the big ass envelopes and shit, that probably had about maybe $20, $30 worth of weed in them, but they were selling them bitches for $10. Down at No Limit, 3651. But yeah, this dude Garrett, I think did I say Anthony Garrett? Yeah, Anthony Garrett. He was making a block hot, so his guys probably made him turn himself in and shit, or they probably was gonna kill his ass, because back then. Oh, that's another thing. The backdoor shit, that shit ain't nothing new. But the murders were way higher in Chicago back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and the 90s. I believe a lot of those murders came down because of the RICO Act with the mob, because the mob is real heavy. You know, a lot of people, people know Al Capone. Y'all know Al Capone and shit, but there's a bunch of motherfuckers that was after Al Capone. It was bosses that never saw jail time and shit, ran the city. I forget their names and shit. Joe Batters, is that him? But the mob, I believe, it was catching all the RICO cases and shit, so they started moving differently and shit. So once they start locking a lot of them motherfuckers up, I believe that helped bring the murder rate down a little bit, because the Italians, them motherfuckers is the king of the back door. They made the back door shit up, you know what I'm saying, and perfected it. Because your own brother would line your ass up if he took the oath, because he could be sent to death himself if he don't do what the fuck he told by the bosses and shit. So that helped tone some of the murders down, because the Chicago outfit ain't operating like they used to. Chicago outfit, them with a couple other Midwest bosses, they're the ones who created Vegas. Funded Bugsy Siegel with the did Bugsy Siegel had a Flamingo or the Tropicana? He had the Flamingo, right? I think it was the Flamingo. But I just need the old niggas to stop that when it was structured shit, cause it's hypocrisy at its finest. There's a lot of holes in that argument. There was some trade-offs. Certain shit is different. Like how they doing all these motherfucking crash and grabs and shit. That's something that's a little bit different. The only time that shit really happened is when black folks was rioting, like when Martin Luther King died. That's one time that I could think of, but that was in the 60s. Fuck, when the Bulls won. That's like little happier times and shit. But my original point is that when there was structured shit, it is bullshit. That shit is cap. That shit is cap, man. Y'all send shorties off all the motherfucking time, man. You know what I'm saying? I got homeboys that caught gun cases because of old niggas and shit. But luckily they were juveniles. So this shit didn't stay on their adult records and shit. Niggas full of shit, man. Y'all. Some bullshit, man. That when there was structure, man, that shit get on my nerve. That's why I brought this shit up. But that women and children are off limits, it's a goddamn lie. The number's right here. I think I already posted that shit on my Facebook page, but hopefully I can add this video to a clip, because I wanted to record this and add it to the photo of Dantrell Davis and shit, see if people remember. I know people remember. They might not remember the name. Some people will remember the name. I couldn't forget the name. But people definitely remember the shit down at Cabrini Green, because Cabrini Green, it's nice as hell over there now. They didn't close down the rest. They keep in a certain section of those high rises that's down there, but the rest of that shit about to be gone. It's on prime real estate, baby. It's a brand new casino coming, so they kept a couple of them because the shit used to be an old. I was talking to a guy and shit. I forgot his name. I got a video of that shit on my Facebook page if you scroll through my reels and shit. But a guy who been down there his entire life, he was older than me. He said that shit was an old, like some army barracks or some shit like that. That's why it looked like that. But they're about to tear down the majority of that shit. They probably keeping about 10% of them. It's a couple buildings on Cambridge Street, I think that is. Right off Chicago Avenue is one strip. Cambridge is a street. bunch of buildings going back that way to those next couple blocks. And then this side of Cambridge, it's a couple buildings right there. And then on the other side of that is where the new Bally's Casino is at. That's being built right now with the entertainment district. I believe that was the old Sun Times building. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sun Times or Tribune. I always mix them up and shit. I could Google it, but fuck it, I ain't finna Google it. So that area about to change. And those were the low-rise buildings of Cabrini Green, because a lot of people don't know that the Cabrini Green buildings are still there. They had the high-rise buildings, but they told those got torn down. Was it 05 or some shit? Cause Siri acting up, so fuck it, I don't even feel like asking. But the high-rise Cabrini Green, damn, it's hard to say that shit for me for some odd reason. The high-rise buildings where Dantrell Davis got sniped, those buildings got tore down. The second mayor, Daley Jr., you know, he was mayor when that shit got tore down. But they had the high-rise buildings that was, I think they said 19 floors. But they had the low-rise buildings that's like, I think them shit's like 2 floors. But that shit is still up off Cambridge and Chicago Avenue. That's why downtown Chicago, Streeterville, which is right down the street, it's a straight shot less than a mile where the water tower and everything is at. That's what made the block so hot down there, like that train station, because the red line, shit, that motherfucker hot. The red line train station at Chicago Avenue and State Street, that's what made that motherfucker so hot. The project motherfuckers, when I was doing Uber and shit, because the buildings, they still open, but it was more of the buildings still open back in 2019 and 2020, like right before COVID hit. Shit, I was sitting at the light. I'm not sure if it's Cambridge, and I think it's Larrabee, where it got those office buildings at. That's Larrabee. I don't know if I was sitting at that light or if I was coming off of Cambridge, because I think it's a light on Cambridge as well. But it was like 40 of them motherfuckers coming from the buildings, walking straight down Chicago Avenue towards shit, the Mag Mall and shit, the water tower and all that shit is on Chicago Avenue, Water Tower Place. And you know, that was them motherfuckers down there kicking up that dust. Cabrini Green is still fucking there. A lot of people don't know that. High-rise buildings gone. That's what got torn down. The low-rise buildings still there. Still motherfuckers getting killed over there. When I was talking to the guy, I think his name was Tony. The guys from the Cabrini Green building somehow got beef with motherfuckers. They probably bumping to each other at that Jules. It's a Jules right there on Division off of Clybourne, I think that is. That Marshall Field building that's over there. I believe Polo G from over there, because I just saw some type of documentary. I didn't know where he was from, but they were outside there on Hudson and all that type of shit. It's some other it's the big building that looked like the Carter. There's 2 big ass buildings in Chicago that look like the Carter. There's one on 47th in Michigan, but then it's another big ass building on the Marshall Field building on Sedgwick. There's entrances on Sedgwick. That shit hard to say. And on the other side of the building, I believe it's Hudson. But it's some other little buildings around there too. I don't know if Polo G, y'all know Polo G. That boy got some heat too. I think if he not from the Marshall Field building, aka the Carter, the other Carter, the third Carter, He's from that area, and they get into it with the niggas way the fuck down on Chicago Avenue from Cabrini Green. This is what an older guy told me and shit, because when I interviewed him, somebody had just got killed maybe 2 weeks before I bumped into him and shit, because I was doing some filming down there, and I saw the gates up around one part of the Cabrini Green, the part that I told you that they tearing down. So they still quite active around there. Not for too much longer, because Bally's, they building this shit. They invested some billions in that motherfucking area. So if it wasn't for Chicago being a liberal democratic city, they probably would have tore that whole shit down. But some of that shit got some, I guess you can call it, historic status. So they're keeping a little strip of them. It's not many of them, but the rest of that shit, because everything besides that shit is brand new. It's funny because you got the projects across the street from office buildings and shit. A lot of nice ass condos and shit with swimming pools on the roof. It's all types of shit down that motherfucking shit. It's the crazy part about Chicago and shit. Good neighborhood, bad neighborhood, good neighborhood, bad neighborhood, good block, bad block. It'd be a couple good blocks, and then it'd be some shit that's straight trenches. And that's how it is over there on Cambridge, where the low-rise Cabrini Green buildings are, and even down there where Polo G and them from, that Marshall Field building on Sedgwick and Hudson, 1400 North block. Bunch of nice shit around there. Like I said, all of this shit is not too far from downtown. Polo and them, they're closer to Wicker Park, more so Bucktown. Bucktown and shit like that. Chicago is weird like that, but old niggas, I need y'all to stop capping, man. Y'all full of shit, man. Just stop it with that whenever structure shit, because hypocrisy is the first thing that come to mind. Full of shit. It's another thing that comes to mind. Y'all did what y'all did too, far as the niggas that was out on that gang shit. I think I done rambled on enough for a while. I just wanted to mention that shit, because the murder rates, man, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s was a motherfucker in Chicago. And it's crazy because we still have the highest murder rate. New York used to have, like in the 80s and shit, like 2,500 motherfuckers getting killed, 2,400 or some shit like that. I remember that was one of the highest numbers that I heard coming out of New York, but that was like in the 80s or some shit like that. But big ass New York that has, I think it's 8 million people that live in New York City. I think it's spiked up a little bit, but it's still under Chicago. But New York had as little as 200 to 300 murders, in comparison to Chicago still maintaining at 5, 6, 7. We done spiked. I remember, was it 2016? Shit, it was 75 murders, goddamn it, in the South Shore area alone, boy. Y'all motherfuckers, it ain't no more niggas left on the east side, goddamn it. God damn, 75 murders in one motherfucking neighborhood? East side ain't that motherfucking big, like, because I think they was specifically saying South Shore, so that's Terrortown, Lakeside.